Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks. Welcome to another stream. Today is not going to be another community challenge. Sorry, you don't need to refresh. I don't think. I was just, slightly late. Today I'm just gonna be reviewing some, cars in automation and BeamNG that are not related to a community challenge, just some regular cars. Okay, so let's see what we got. Um, I'm gonna do these in the alphabetical order because that's how they import into automation, and just to see what we got. Okay, I sent out one with new body type. I really like the new update. Yeah, they made a lot of new body types available. Um, there is the 204S Coupe. Let's see who that one was sent in by. That was by Hybrid Trony. Let's see. Okay, so here we have it. So this is, let's see. Okay, so this is more of a family car, I guess. Just a regular. Actually, it's not a family car because it should have 4 doors for that. It's a 2-door coupe with a 2-liter boxer 4. Galvanized steel monocoque and steel panels. Front longitudinal rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual. McPherson's up front, solid leaf on the rear. It's very light. Let's check out the engine. It is a single overhead cam 16-valve boxer 4. These are some old. Let's see. This is from Monday. So, since I haven't done any any reviews yet, so of the cars for reviews channel in Discord, I haven't reviewed any of them yet. So let's see. This is from Cast Iron. It has a heavy-duty forged conrods and forged pistons. Cam profile of 60, which means, if there was ever gonna be torque from a 2-liter, this doesn't really have it in the low RPMs. It does have a relatively nice flat power band in the higher RPMs. It's got single-point fuel injection with a performance intake on regular fuel. This is a tiny engine, dude. I like the intake here as well. It looks pretty funny, actually. 6,800 RPM rev limit. Would probably go down to like 6,600 to increase reliability a little bit. Freeway cat, tubular headers, baffled mufflers, and let's see. Styling. Let's talk about the styling for a second. It does look very 80s. And I like that it's a sort of 2-tone paint job as well. Also very 80s. Taillights are fine. They suit the car, even though maybe they're a little bit more 90s than 80s-esque, I would say, but they're still okay. It's a relatively simple design. Hey Scrances, how is it going? I hope I wasn't too late with the 91 car. When did you send it in? Anyway, this is... Well, it's sort of like an entry-level coupe, isn't it? Let's see what else it has. It's got an open diff, a 5-speed manual, medium compound tires, solid discs all around. They're slightly too small on the front, apparently. Belge Maserati B Turbo. I don't see that in the Cars 4 reviews, Cars 4 review channel in Discord. I don't know. We've got premium interior and standard entertainment in this one with 4 seats. And we've got advanced safety but no power steering. And then gas monotube dampers, everything else is pretty standard. Soft suspension, so this is more of a daily driver than a sports car. So I guess this would be a rival for a 3 Series coupe. Is what I would view this as, just as basically a sedan where they took 2 doors off. Oh yeah, the Le Belge Grand Lux. Yeah, I did get that one. Anyway, I view this one as a sort of as I said, sort of like a 3 Series coupe-esque thing. And for that, what's the fuel economy? Oh, it's kind of... Yeah, it should be a little bit more economical than it is. It is cheaper though. So I got the new update, but I can't see the exhaust hanging below my car. Did they remove that feature? Apparently, yeah, because I didn't notice that either when building my cars today, so they may have just forgotten about it. So this, let's see how this drives in BeamNG. I'm not gonna go back and forth between automation and BeamNG with all of these cars, but I'm gonna export them right after the review. Sorry for that. I'm getting kind of tired already today. Long live last minute jobs. Anyway, it looks neat. Next up is the CMA Marauder. That is, let's see, that is by Watch Dogs. Okay, so this is a 743 horsepower rear drive sedan. Now, the sort of size of this is more like a 3 Series. So this would be rivaling the M3. It's gonna be interesting to find out how this one drives. Styling is okay. I feel like you could have done more with the bumper, especially. I also feel like you could have done a little bit more with a nicer paint job, and I don't particularly like the rear end design, and it's I don't know, I'm just not a fan of, you know, huge taillights here and then the interconnection with the red bar across. Also, you could have also just made it a lot cleaner by doing this, hiding these overlaps. But anyway, styling is not my favorite, I have to be honest. Let's check out the engine. Okay, so we have a 6-liter, 5-valve aluminium twin-turbo V8, which is very, very laggy. Like, if you hear a 6-liter twin-turbo V8, you think, oh man, it's gonna make massive torque, right? No, this one doesn't. It doesn't really, like, nothing really starts happening until, like, well, let's say maybe like 3,500 RPM. Then it starts climbing, but from there, you know, I don't know, it's... Yeah, this is just, with the fact that it only revs to 6,500 RPM, starting to do something at 3,500 is not good. We have one straight-through muffler and no second muffler. We have a performance intake on direct injection and throttle per cylinder. Actually, no VVT in 2012. That's unusual. We have a 5-speed manual, again in 2012. That's weird. Let's see what he says. It's commonly retrofitted for police use. It's a complete contradiction to its heritage. Loud, fast, and expensive, the Marauder is CMA's attempt to break back into the sport market, and it has received much fanfare. With an open... Man. It's got an open diff. Oh, no. Yeah. Phew. Yeah, this is gonna be difficult. Steer rims on sports compound tires. Solid disc brakes all around with actually a lot of brake fade. A lot of brake fade on the spoiler. So these are gonna fade very quickly on the track. So let me ask you this question. If you're gonna make a 743 horsepower rear-wheel drive sedan and it's not made for the track, then what is it made for? Like, may as well, if you're looking for a sporty rear-wheel drive sedan for mostly everyday driving, 300 horsepower is gonna get you anywhere just as quickly in the real world as this 743 horsepower, especially because it's very laggy. So we have a sport interior with premium sat-nav. We have electric variable power steering and ESC plus launch control. We have advanced 2000 safety and then active sport suspension. Yeah, no active wing either because it doesn't have a wing. So this is a tough sell, like the markets already would suggest. Oh, and it also uses a massive amount of fuel too. So this is like... I would be like, I'm actually like, if this turns out to be good in BeamNG, I would be pleasantly surprised. In automation, it doesn't look all too promising, I have to say. Yeah, the lip, yeah, I know. Front lip, but nothing else. Next up, the Fiat Panda Supervan, which was by Carlo Vincenzetto. This is a mad project of mine, no fucks given. It's a Fiat Panda van made only to destroy any possible autocross time. It's a carbon fiber monster with active aero and a relatively crazy engine. It took me a lot to tune it in order to make it handle it the way I wanted, and this is the best I could make. My dream car, the car everybody dreams about in Italy, is what he says about this car. What? What? Man, what is this? There's some aero on this car. Yeah. This is not your average Fiat Panda, pretty safe to say. Yeah, also your average Fiat Panda doesn't make 417 horsepower while weighing 822 kilograms. They are very light, especially these early ones, of the ones from the 80s that this one's based on. They are very, very light cars. But now let's check out the engine. It is a 2-liter turbocharged Boxer 6, 5 valve per cylinder, lightest possible materials. Plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15, and then plus 15. Yeah, everything's on race. No cat even, not just no mufflers, but no cat even. Even so, it's not very loud actually. 50.7. It'd actually be a lot louder. Does that have to do with the exhaust quality as well? Yeah, it does. So higher quality with no mufflers actually still makes it quieter. I thought only if you have mufflers, then it would make it quieter. But yeah, this has a sequential 6-speed gearbox, just like a rally car. Does 0 to 100 in 2.6, probably faster in Beam. It comes in semi-slick tires. Only 16-inch rims. And they're alloy, not carbon fiber, surprisingly. And let's see. We have carbon ceramic brakes. Very front biased brake balance. And then downforce under tray. Lots of downforce front and rear. I mean, what else would you expect, really, looking at the car? And we have only one seat, basically no interior at all. Electric variable power steering, surprisingly, and then only ABS, no traction control or launch control. And no safety equipment whatsoever, and the safety is at 6. And then active sport suspension. You could make this lower though, couldn't you? Then again, the rear tires are almost rubbing already. It pulls 1.44 G. That's the benefit of having a light car with lots of downforce. It completely, like, it does not move up and down at all when going over a bump. It just like irons it out. It only goes 223 kilometers an hour at top speed, but you don't need any more if you only go on an autocross, right? Like on a tight road course, or like on a tight racetrack, you don't need any more top speed than this. It probably could go. Actually, it can't go faster than it, huh? Because of all the aero. Okay. But yeah, this is a crazy car. Like, honestly just insane. It'll be a lot of fun to drive in Beam, I'm sure. Why worry about death when you have 6 safety? Yeah. Um, in a car that is... Then again, how is it only making 6 safety if it's made completely from carbon fiber? I thought carbon fiber was pretty good in crashing and whatnot. But if it's like only a carbon fiber panel and like no no structure behind it, you know, no crumple zones behind it, then yeah, then carbon fiber is not gonna stop the impact very much. Which I guess is what this would be. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I can already tell. Next up, the GMG Cleveland 2, which is the successor to Sedan 57 Chevy's entry, like to the car that Sedan 57 Chevy entered in yesterday's challenge. This would be the next generation. Oh, okay. A very different body style this time. I like the look. I think he does a very good job usually with designing his 60s, 70s, 80s cars. Very nice look, actually. Classic 1978 styling. Let's see. This has a V6 single overhead cam, 2 valve per cylinder, 3.6 liters. Makes 149 horsepower. Nice torque curve. Very usable. This one has fuel injection, whereas the last one only had carbs. We've got 2 reverse flow mufflers. And then we also have a 3-speed automatic with an open diff. We have medium tires, 215s all around. We have alloy rims. Vented discs up front and solid ones on the rear. Pretty good braking. And I was surprised I got third, but I take it with open arms. Yeah, I mean, you did a good job. And then fully clad under tray. And then we have 5 seats with a premium interior and premium entertainment. And we have advanced safety. And progressive springs. So this one is another like family sedan. Surely it has like the trunk volume of this car would be just nuts. Like imagine that the rear seats would end like here. All of this is trunk area. Yeah, the trunk would be just absolutely huge in this one. Should have very good utility score as a result. Actually only 16.4. How is that possible? Or does that count towards practicality instead? Yeah, I guess it's spaciousness. Load capacity. I don't know. Anyway, this is an adequate family car, I think, for a 1978. Looks good. Engine's good. Fuel economy is kind of bad, but you know, cars back then weren't really efficient anyway. At least when they're this big, when they were this big, they weren't efficient. I'm gonna be looking forward to see how this drives. It's river drive, by the way. I have an idea for the next challenge. Go ahead. I'll think about it anyway. Like, okay, so this export went very fast. Looks like a Monza. Actually, yeah. That was the one thing that it reminds me of. I couldn't think of the name of the Monza, but yeah, that I felt like this reminds me of something, but I can't remember the name of it. It was a Monza, yeah. Okay, this is the Golbnik Bliat Mobile. Made by Sergeant Snoopy. You charge 1970 car consume as much fuel as you can. What could go wrong? Yeah, this is a son of Trabant. Yep, most likely. Let's see what he says. Only the finest of 50s Russian technology, whatever that means. Built for the masses with maximum passenger carrying capabilities and low prices as the only priorities. Base model of the base model plus optional roof rack. Okay. So let's see what this has. It's steel ladder chassis, steel panels, front rear drive, 2-gear manual, and solid axle coil springs front and rear. And we have 25 horsepower from a 1.5 liter inline-4, 4.4% efficiency. That's awful. That is awful. 100 cam profile. You have a race intake on this? Why? What's the point of the race intake on this one? I want to know. Also, low quality fuel. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense for Russia. Also, what is this? Is this a spike to drive into people? Two-speed manual. 0 to 100 in the negative 1 second. I mean, I guess it would hold the world record in that in 0 to 100 in that case. But if only it could prove it, since it only goes 92 kilometers an hour. A lot of older cars had a starter motor and hand crank. Yeah, I know, but this doesn't look like one of those, I have to say. It's got an open diff, obviously. It's got hard long life road tires. It oversteers like crazy, apparently. Is it rear engined? No, it's front engined. 10-inch rims. Drum brakes, obviously. And 6 seats. Basic interior, basic entertainment of negative 50 quality. 15 quality at least. May as well be negative 50. And yeah, everything has negative 15 quality, so it costs 4,522. What's the warning? The car is strong oversteer, significantly reducing drivability and spoilerness. Try increasing rear grip. So, for a car that weighs 867 kilograms and makes 25 horsepower, you would expect it to get, you know, reasonable fuel economy, even in 1955. This This uses more than a lot of muscle cars would use under full throttle. That's not okay. It has 0 in absolutely every one of the 5 main stats. 0.0. That is just... yeah, that's terrible. Hey Jetty, how's it going? I still remember your Hank videos, Tom. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna make more. Maybe, maybe not. I didn't know they put diesel train engines in Trabants. Hey, Bazaar Gaming. Yep, exactly. You would just drop these into my Discord, into the Cars for Review channel, please. Because the other one where you can submit files, the community challenge files, that is only for when a community challenge is going on, as the name would suggest. For just any other car, you can use the Cars for Review channel. Next up is the IMP Duna. That one is sent in by Random41. Let's see what he has to say. He says, here's a car inspired by the GAZ 2424 Volga known as Dogonialka. It was used by KGB, and while the normal version had an underpowered gas-guzzling 2.4 liter inline 4, the 2424 had a V8 and was used to chase suspects. Duno is what you foreigners known as Danube, the river. Oh, yeah. Because Volga is also a river, but I'm from Bulgaria. Also, I haven't tested it in BeamNG. Okay. Whoa, yeah, okay, I saw the power number. So this is a 4-door sedan in 1965. It's got a monocoque, a steel monocoque, and corrosion-resistant steel panels. Also corrosion-resistant steel monocoque. I apologize for what I've sent you then. Why? Why do you apologize? And this one has a 5-speed manual and a 7-liter V8. It's a dual overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder V8. Oh, that recipe makes for a lot of power, of course. We have 15 quality here, 10 quality here, 55 gram profile. Not the most torque ever, down low. And we have fuel injection on a standard intake plus 10 quality. Jeez, this engine is going to be expensive as all hell. Especially for 1965. And we have tubular headrests and double reverse flow mufflers. I will still download it. You can actually import cars while the game is running. So that's good about automation. Let's see if it loads properly, though sometimes it doesn't if you import while you're already playing. 5-speed manual rear-wheel drive, automatic locker diff, which is gonna be quite a lot to deal with in automation. It also does 282 kilometers an hour top speed. It runs on semi-slick tires. So I guess this is a drag machine, isn't it? This is a drag racing sedan. With a lot of quality everywhere. Solid disc brakes all around. with extremely aggressive pad type, semi-clad on the tray, premium and premium on the interior and entertainment, hydraulic power steering, advanced 60 safety, and then progressive springs. Yeah, this thing's gonna be fast, and it is also going to be very hard to control in the corners. It is... Yeah, the tires are not just rubbing, they're going all the way through the like, you would have to carve these these fenders differently for those tires, front and rear actually. I have a car that can do a drag race episode because I have a car that can do 7 seconds flat. Yeah, that is. I saw your car for the Bashar Nasri drag racing challenge. Is the 7-second flat car based on that one? I remember that drag race muscles. I remember that green muscle car that costed a skyscraper back in '69. This one costs, let's see, $70,000. Now hold on, I have an inflation calculator open. So this in 1965 would cost $8,826 in 1965 money. That's a lot of money. I mean, this for 1965 standards is very, very expensive, but also extremely fast. Let's just see how well it puts down the power in in Beam, because I imagine it might be struggling. The Wombat was built to competition rules, and the other one is basically the same with quality spam. Okay. I can send you the Wombat if you want to see it. I might look at it another time. For right now, I think we have enough cars in here. Because I also want to show you guys some cars that I've made in the past couple of days. It's cool if you have what you're reviewing worked out already. No worries. Okay. So this is a 2020 sedan. Looks pretty cool. Futuristic headlights. I would assume that these would be LEDs, probably. I like the red color as well. These are some of the new taillights, I think. By the way, who is this from? The Lebelge Horizon? Wait. Oh, so I have 2 Lebelges to review today. The Horizon, the result of a fusion between the Lebelge Laura and the Lebelge VDB. A sporty car that's also a nice commuter car. Is it expensive? Not for those who want decent quality, comfort, and a little fuel consumption, combined with proper sportiness and elegance. Let's see if it meets these. If it stays true to that statement. Let's check out the engine. It is a 2.5 liter dual overhead cam, 16 valve, inline 4. It's made from AL-designed aluminum with VVL. And it's got very light components. It's got a VVT on all cams as well. This one has a relatively nice and usable power band. It's not very laggy. Sure, it only kicks in at 3600 RPM fully, but it revs to almost 8000, so it can make use of that. Apparently these were not changed at all. Only the AR ratio was lowered. You can actually optimize this a lot more. Because the turbine at 65.5 or 67.5 isn't gonna do anything. I mean, actually it is apparently, but also if you decrease the compressor a little bit, you see, then all you're doing is you're not losing power, you're just making the engine that little bit lighter and the turbo spool up a little bit faster. So the compressor at a certain point isn't gonna help you anymore. Let's see. Straight flow muffler and the reverse flow muffler. The exhaust is too small. And it's got a 4-speed advanced automatic in 2020. And a geared limited slip diff. And then it's got medium compound tires, 17-inch alloy rims, vented discs front and rear. And they could be a little bit bigger because there is some brake fade. We got fully clad under tray. We got 4 seats, premium interior and standard infotainment, and then electric power steering, traction control and ABS. No ESC actually, no launch control either. And then advanced 10 safety. We got active comfort springs and then 20 tube dampers to cut the cost down a little bit. This does fairly okay in the markets. You would of course add some markup, because you're not selling the car for exactly how much it cost you to build. You want to return a profit, right? So yeah, I mean, overall there are some areas that can be improved. It's not bad necessarily. Just a couple of interesting choices, like the 4-speed gearbox. Yeah, it's also got wider tires on the front than on the rear. It's because it's front-wheel drive. Longitudinal front-wheel drive, actually. Okay. I had 225, 215s rear on my Volvo S40 in S40 T5, helped the balance a lot. Yeah. So this is this is a decent front-wheel drive sedan. I think it should drive reasonably well. It's gonna be interesting to see how the 4-speed gearbox is gonna work. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that it makes a lot of sense that the front-wheel drive car would have wider tires on the front than on the rear. Then there's the Pluto Predator. The power band is wide enough to cope with 4-speed. Yeah. But you would still probably get better, you know, flexibility from like a 6 or 7 speed auto. This is the Pluto Predator, which is by that Carpenter guy. So this is a 1972 van. Okay. Sorry for that. So this has galvanized steel nitride monocoque and corrosion-resistant panels. It is front longitudinal rear-wheel drive, and it's got a 5-speed manual, leaf springs front and rear. It weighs 1,811 kilograms and has a 136 horsepower 4-liter V8. This is how I imagine, the torque curve on one of these utility vehicles. Everything is down low. From there, it just goes down. 19 cam profile. The exhaust is probably very... Actually, no, it's not restrictive at all. Yeah, this would give you a lot better power and efficiency, making the exhaust diameter smaller. This looks like the van that gave me free candy. Long tubular on that tune makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree. DCOE quad carbs with performance intake. You could probably go with a single barrel eco carburetor and then achieve similar power, in my opinion. That would save costs. Five-speed manual and a manual locker. 230s all around, which is fairly wide for 1972. And also the 18-inch rims are very big for 1972. This is not what you'd see on a 72, delivery van. Solid discs all around is also something you wouldn't see. But yeah, especially with brakes this large. And then no under tray. It's got a front bench. It's got basic interior and basic AM radio. And then hydraulic power steering and advanced 70 safety. Hydro pneumatic springs. I mean, just some weird choices on this one, in my opinion. And then it doesn't actually do super well. It's okay in heavy utility. Would be better if it was a truck, apparently. And then heavy delivery, it's okay. Uses a lot of fuel, but that's just part for the course. That's just how these vans were in the 70s. I think the engine could have been optimized better. First of all, by making the exhaust smaller. Like that. So it was here, right? Let's see. Now the acceleration is a what? 12.4. If we make the exhaust smaller again. Like here. 11.7. Even though we only gained what, 8 horsepower? It's simply because you just have more torque everywhere in the rev range. By making the exhaust smaller. In this case, anyway. Because it's way too large. 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 Because it's way too So let's export this one as well. How's the reliability on that, by the way? 58.4 could actually be a lot better, considering that it has basically nothing on the interior. And the more electronics you have in the interior, the more can break. But this one has basically nothing, so the reliability should be higher than this, in my opinion. Next is the Jidosha Kogaku EX1 by Caligo. Okay, so this was facing the wrong direction, kind of threw me off. Yeah. The looks have yet to grow on me, let's put it that way. Can't see the graphs apparently. So this is another delivery vehicle apparently. It's a 1.6 liter inline 4. Actually a very high revving one apparently. Revving to 7500 RPM. It's got 123 horsepower because it's dual overhead cam 4 valve per cylinder. And let's see. It's got a 5-speed manual gearbox. It's longitudinal front-wheel drive. It's got a geared limited slip diff. It's got sports tires on this thing. And then 15-inch alloy rims. We've got drums on the front and vented discs on the rear. That must be a mistake. Because you would want it the other way around most of the time, especially because of the weight distribution, which you know, is 60% up front. Yeah. Brake by 0? Okay. That was a bug. No under tray. I guess that's 3 seats up front, 2 in the rear. Sport interior, standard 8-track. What? Advanced safety. I don't understand this car. Hydro pneumatic springs. So what is this? What is this good for? Well, nothing really, apparently. The highest scores are in the 70s in some of the markets. I don't know, it's just weird. Yeah, you're just looking at it backwards. I know, yeah. But just look at that steering curve. 1G exactly, yeah. And then the bump graph is nice. But I don't get what this car is supposed to be. If it's only a delivery vehicle, why does it have a rear bench? If it's a family car, why is it a truck as opposed to a wagon? You know? If it's meant to be light and sporty, then why does it have hydro pneumatic springs and advanced safety? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. We'll have to see. Renault S-Pace pickup. I don't know. I mean, if you wanted to make If you wanted to make that, you could still just take any four-door truck and have a front bench and a rear bench, and also a huge bed at the rear, right? And then we have the Belge Grand Lux. A 1991 four-door GT, not too expensive yet elegant. In other words, completely in the style of the Belge Grand Lux tradition. Okay, let's see. Okay, now this is obviously the BMW 8 Series body. Relatively clean taillight design, I like it. The front, I think that the upper portion is just a little bit too big. It's not bad, but especially in the early 90s, I've seen some designs that are really like. Oh yeah, we now have windscreen wipers in the game as well, which is nice. But for the early 90s, I've seen some very nice designs in the past. This one's alright. It's not bad. I've just seen better. Let's just put it that way. It's got a 500 horsepower, a 7-liter V12 under the bonnet though. But it does have all-wheel drive. Oh, it's a twin-turbo engine. I missed my little review. My dad called me. Was your car... Yeah, this is the sort of twin turbo setup that has one torque spike, and from there it just drops harshly. It makes for a very flat top curve. the pedo van. You can't say that on YouTube. And this VOD is probably gonna be exported to YouTube anyway. Oh, no problem. 8.7 compression ratio, 48 cam profile. The intercooler could be bigger actually. Look at what just one click gives you. 13 more horsepower. Yeah. The intercooler could be a lot bigger. Multi-point injection throttle per cylinder configuration with a standard intake. Relatively rich fuel mixture for a good bit of power. Limited on 500 horsepower, doesn't always have to be more. Okay, but then if this is if the intercooler would be larger, then you could reduce like the turbine size a little bit to make it less spiky here and more flat of a power band. That would be my argument. But I guess it works. So this has a 5-speed manual. And it's got a viscous limited slip diff. Most of the power actually goes to the front as opposed to the rear. Let's see what that... We're gonna see what that does in Beam. Also wider front tires than rear. And then 18-inch magnesium rims. The steering behavior basically follows the oversteer line until around about like 75 kilometers an hour, something like that. 70. And then we have vented discs up front and solid discs on the on the rear. Sorry. And then I'm so used to saying solid discs all around from the challenge yesterday because it was like on every car. Then no under tray, 4 seats, luxury interior and entertainment. We have variable hydraulic power steering with traction control and ABS, and advanced 90s safety, and air suspension, which I guess started becoming popular in like around this time. Mine had rear drums. Yeah, there were some cars that had rear drums, but most of them had solid discs front and rear. Now this, you would reasonably sell a luxury car for like plus 50%. That's not unreasonable to do. Even then, it does fairly well in luxury premium, GT, and especially GT premium. I imagine this would be very quick. Yep, it is. So, even though it's heavy, it is still a quick car. And we're gonna have to see how it handles, I guess, in Beam. I want to go skiing now. Yeah. 70-degree roll angle is just something that's gonna happen in a heavy car like this if it's soft, and it needs to be soft if it's supposed to be comfortable. Now I'm gonna show you guys a couple of cars that I've made. If you've been watching my YouTube channel for a long time, then you may remember a series of automation where I built cars for a brand called Athena, which was a which is a UK-based luxury car brand. So I decided to basically rebuild that from the ground up, start at zero, start at 1947 with the first car. This is the SL1, so the nomenclature would be a type of car, as in sedan in this case, then the size based on wheelbase, and then the first number is the generation that it's in, and since this is the first generation, it's the SL1, of course. And then 36 is the 3.6 liters of the engine divided by 100. So this is a four-door luxury sedan, and the taillights went missing in the update. For whatever reason, it had these taillights pretty much like this. And yeah, it's got a 3.6 liter inline six, and it is built. It is built to compete with the Jaguar Mark IV 3.5 liter sedan. That car had 125 horsepower from a 3.5 liter inline six, and it did 0 to 100 in 14.2 seconds. Well, this does it in 11.9, and has a slightly bigger engine, 3 less horsepower, but maybe a little bit more torque. It comes on hard long life road tires. It's got drum brakes, of course. Luxury interior on everything, only 4 seats because that is just better for a luxury car. And then a pretty soft suspension setup. Very nice bump graph. And yeah, it does fairly well on the markets. Torque is key in any kind of car. I wouldn't say so, but it does help in most cases. From this car followed the 1951 CL1, which is the first generation of the large coupe. Yeah, it as I said, it competed with the Jaguar Mark IV 3.5 liter, which had basically the same power figures. This is a coupe. It has the same engine but retuned. And of course, you could have this in. And the taillights went missing again. I don't know what's happening with these updates in automation. What? It's the same fixture as before. Sure, they added some variant to it, but why did they have to go missing? It's not like they replaced it with a completely new fixture. And yeah, this has 140 horsepower from the same 3.6 liter engine. And you see, horsepower goes, horsepower defines how fast you're going to hit the wall, and torque defines how far you're going to pull the wall with you. Yeah, exactly. The Conbino from yesterday had real trouble with the hill since it had 0 torque. The pinstripes are... Yeah, I did something creative with this car for sure. But the rear looks a little goofy. Like, I don't know, the taillights were, I think, more like up here. I don't... Wait, let me see. I posted this on the forums as well. Let me see. I don't remember exactly where I had them. No, they were down here. A bit further outside, maybe? Like so, yeah. Okay, and this did 0 to 100 in what? 10.4 seconds. In 1951, that's fast. And it did also cost a lot of money, of course. But it did very well in GT and GT Premium, so it's a very good car. Even at 50% markup, it does fairly well here. And it also came as a Roadster. Which is this. You know, you can obviously have this in British Racing Green because it's a British brand. But then, from there is the 1955 second generation large sedan, the SL2. And this one I actually finished today, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, aesthetically especially. I really like the way that the front end turned out. It's got double pinstripes along the side. Chrome mirrors, obviously. Chrome, what you call these? Oh, yes. And then, see, these are the same taillights. Why are they not? Why have they not disappeared in the update? That's what I don't understand. Side steps, yeah, thank you. It's got a chrome trunk handle as well, of course. This is a design I really like. It comes with the with a slightly retuned 3.6 liter engine as well. It does also make 140 horsepower like the coupe, but it has a flatter torque curve because it's 1955 now, so that is possible. This also comes, since this car, the second generation large sedan, was built primarily for the American market, and that's just because the market for luxury cars was much larger in America than it was in Europe. But they were lagging a little bit behind in the horsepower war that had already begun, so they made a new engine. And that is the Olympus 6.4 liter V12. It is a 6.4 liter dual overhead cam 2-valve per cylinder V12. It makes 275 horsepower. It makes 480 newton meters of torque. It is quite the engine for this car. Athena uses the Apple trick. Same brake light, different body. Like Apple, same phone, different price. Not really. This has two lights now, as opposed to, the previous cars had one light fixture that was red on one side and orange on the other for the indicator. This has two lights now. Two separate lights. This also has a 4-speed manual gearbox because, a 2-speed automatic would is just awful. This comes on wider tires than the inline 6 version, of course, and they're also sports tires as opposed to medium compound tires. And this allows the car to go from 0 to 100 in 7.6 seconds. Imagine that in 1955. Europe was kind of blown to pieces. We weren't really busy with sports cars as the Gogomobile. Yeah, obviously, yeah. I like how you kept the same kind of style. Thank you. Of course, luxury interior and phonograph, 4 seats, advanced 50 safety, and a comfortable suspension setup here. And the price is very expensive. This would actually be $4,851. I think I calculated earlier with the inflation calculator in 1955. And that was a lot of money back then. That was really a lot of money. But look, at plus 80%, it does extremely well still in the luxury premium and GT premium. So this is quite the car for the market. And I have exported this one to BeamNG as well, obviously. And speaking of BeamNG, I think now we're ready. Now we're ready to go there. My brand is Pluto. Let's say it's all around the globe, from American to Japanese to European cars. It looks so posh. I love it. I mean, it is a very imposing looking car. That's for sure. It looks high class, like it should, because it is a very expensive, luxury car. Better look expensive, right? So let's actually go ahead and free roam. I'm gonna drive, since, you know what, let's go to the automation test track first and see which of the cars are actually, sports cars. And let's drive the other ones in the city. First up, I'm gonna actually drive the Athena, even though it's not a, it's not a sports car. But I want to show you guys that this car can actually drift fairly well, despite the open diff, just from all the torque. Okay, there. Yeah, it does like to kick the tail out quite a bit. Obviously, the one problem with this car is the brakes. As you can see, it takes forever to stop, but... Whoa, yeah, there was the lag. But the brakes are always going to be problematic on on luxury cars of the 50s. Like, they just didn't have good brakes back then. It just wasn't a thing yet. Sir, would you like to go running in the 90s? Takes this flat out, no problem at all. And with the sports tires, this actually does handle fairly well too. Like, it turns in pretty well. I tried building a drifty boy. Wait, let me read these messages in just a second. Margaret, could you please hand over our compact disc player? I'd like to play the Running in the 90s jingle. Ironically, it got dropped into the light delivery class. Okay, that's for a drift car? I get submitted for next time. Drifty pause boy. Yeah, I was reading chatter because I wanna get in on the fun as well. That's what Twitch chat is. Oh, shit. That was my own fault, by the way. The car drives very well, very well, actually. All right, let's now check out some of the other cars. So the 204 S Coupe, it's not necessarily a sports car, but it should compete with like the BMW 3 Series. Finally, disc brakes. Feels very light and agile. But then again, so would an E30. You do see the body roll quite significantly though. Oh yeah, we have no ABS, do we? In this? What power is it? 136 horsepower, this one? I feel the G. Yeah, there was some heavy understeer. I mean, safe for a family sedan, but not fun. Oh, that was way too early on the brakes. I was still used to the big heavy cars, which would have to brake much earlier. The rear just screams Mercedes, yeah. No torque. But overall, this drives fairly well. Yeah, I like it. Fun little car. What else did we have today? We had the CMA Marauder. Okay. This one's gonna have to prove something. This was the 743 horsepower river drive sedan. Obviously, we're gonna turn traction control off. That's what it's there for. Man, the tires are just spinning all the time. All the time. Yeah, it's pretty safe to say. Not when you speak Dutch, that allows me to butcher engine. Tomaat. Perfectie. Yeah, perfectie, I think Dutch would say. Anyway, this has too much power for what it can use. Way too much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. best to probably just bin it and back to the drawing board. I'm sorry, but there were some choices made with this that just don't make any sense. Oh, we have the Panda Supervan. Almost forgot about this. This is gonna be fun. This car has no understeer or oversteer. It just steers. Also, the brakes are just absolutely incredible. Look how much space we still had left to brake there, and I braked late for the speed I was going. That's what you get when you have carbon brakes in a very light car. Oh, my bad. But this is awesome, dude. This is a lot of fun. It's so fast. I almost want to do a time trial on the automation track with this. I bet it's going to destroy everything. Not only because I haven't really done that many of this, but also, like, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be extremely tough to beat around here. Simply because, for one, it corners extremely fast. And for one, it corners extremely fast. And for two, you can't really go faster in a straight line than this goes on top speed anyway. I mean, yeah, you can go faster than 220 or whatever this does on a slingshot. Okay, you can make up a little bit of time there, but on the braking and through the corners, this is unbeatable. Even early on the brakes there. Here is where you could make up some time against this. Again, brake too early. Oh, I was looking at chat for a second there. This just feels fast anywhere. Except for the very long straight before the slingshot, I guess. But the cornering speeds are just insane. Okay. 159 something? 159, yeah. The speed down the straight is important on the automation track. Yeah, definitely. Now let's go to free roam on the automation track again. Whew, that was nice. That was really nice. How can a car be that agile? Well, it only weighs 800 and a little bit kilograms, has semi-slick tires, and a lot of downforce, that's how. And forward drive, of course. Now for something a little bit more casual. A little bit less stressful. Yeah, I've always found that the difference in lap times between automation and beam, for me, with my driving, is always at about 10 to 12 seconds. This just won't kick the tail out at all, apparently. This is a V6. This only makes 150 horsepower, by the way, and it's a family sedan, so... It's slow, but it's not built to be fast. You have a wheel and pedals? Okay, that's nice. Yeah, down here you really sense a kind of a lack of power, but I mean, I guess it's okay. It sounds good. Oh, no ABS. I'm sorry. It understeers a lot, and it feels slower than the car it replaces. It feels slower than where is it? This one, and it feels less agile too. So I prefer the predecessor of the car we just drove. Actually, I prefer this to this. Normally, you'd think that you know, a next generation of a car would be better, but in this case, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like it's the other way around. Next, we have the Lada, the Trabant. Oh my god. Sorry guys, for this one I'm gonna have to turn the sounds of the game back a little bit. Can it make this up the hill? This is a very slight incline and it's struggling already. You know, the problem is... I'm gonna shut it up. The problem is I wanna test drive this car, but I don't have the patience to actually get it around the track once. So... let's get to the Imp Dunar Chaser. Take it around the ending circuit. No, please no. Just gonna move on with the next car. Oh, a flat plane gate. I didn't even notice that during automation. So yeah, 7-liter I think it was, V8, 500 horsepower. Yeah, with the locker diff, there's no escape from oversteer. So I did 24 hours of Le Mans with it, 1 lap, yeah. Even without the diff, it spins a lot. Yeah, even without the diff. This car, again, has too much power for what it can handle. See that? I didn't even turn in that time. I wasn't even on the analog stick. I was trying to go straight, but... yeah, this has too much power for what it can handle. It should be toned down. A lot. Let's look at this. I'm looking at the front end, and it's moving away from me. This body is bugged. Oh, I actually gotta turn left. I gotta treat it as if I was driving forwards, even though I'm technically driving backwards. What the hell? But the steering feels like I'm driving backwards. It's extremely loose and extremely responsive. Just like if you're driving backwards, it feels that way. So the car goes forwards even though I'm driving backwards. I don't know. Oh my god. Like, it's so weird how... It's so weird how... the steering is as if you were going backwards. Yeah. I mean, this is a fun little thing, but... it takes some time getting used to. What else do we have today? The Belge Grand Lux. Yeah, this one was the 7-liter twin-turbo V12. Yeah, it is all-wheel drive, but most of the power goes to the front, so it doesn't actually power oversteer. It's fast though. Looks like it's set up for Audi understeer. It's not that bad, but it does understeer. Oh man. Yeah, it doesn't like fast speed corners. I thought it could make it round. It felt pretty nice until then, but I guess it doesn't really have downforce. It's fast down the straights though. As you would expect from a 500 horsepower V12. Twin turbo V12 nonetheless. Doesn't drive too badly actually, but I wish the power distribution went more to the rear, so it could actually power oversteer a little bit. It's not bad though. The LaBelge Horizon. I believe this one was front-wheel drive. Let's see what this does. Oh, damn. This has a lot of understeer, this one. You got the suspension right on the other one, but this... Whew. I mean, yeah, there I kind of helped it into the corner by, like, braking into it. Yeah, let's see. This one should be able to go flat out through here, unless it understeers hard. Man, Yeah, I think this one should go back to the workshop for a little bit more refinement. It understeers too much. You should change the suspension rather than throwing wider tires on the front onto it. And that is because with the wider front tires than rear tires, the car is gonna turn in sharper, but then it's still gonna understeer. And with the rear tires being narrower than the front ones, what you saw right there is more likely to happen is that it turns in sharply, but the rear loses grip, and you end up hitting the barrier. So I believe the last car for today would be the Pluto Predator. Let's drive it with the diff not locked for now. Who wants free candy? Free V-Bucks. You know what? For what it is, it actually drives fairly well. Lock the diff? I don't think it's gonna do anything. But let's lock the diff. Have some fun with the kids in the back. They're gonna be puking though. They're gonna get quote unquote seasick. Oh man. That was some understeer there. Should be good to go flat out here. Yeah, easy. Because we're not going very fast, of course. This is about the speed that I think this would be going through here, yeah. Too much kids in the back, I mean cargo. Yeah, the engine is kind of struggling with the weight of this thing. But you'd never expect a delivery van to be fast, right? It was 4x4, but that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. Guess those kids would be sick from getting stuffed with all the free candy, of course. Of course, yeah. Overall, decent car here, actually. I think it's not that bad. I wanted to drive something else today. This one. Since this is probably my most track-ready car. It doesn't have a crazy amount of downforce, but it is a V12 with 875 horsepower and all-wheel drive with a mid-engine car. So now I don't think that this would beat the other car on the time trial and automation, simply because it doesn't have the cornering speeds. And it doesn't have the same sort of brake power. Keep in mind that I did not set this up for aggressive downforce, but more for a little bit of downforce, but mostly also a high top speed. It does like 230 miles an hour or something like that, as opposed to doing the same in kilometers an hour, like the other car did. So yeah, there is a huge discrepancy there. But of course, in a straight line, this is much faster than the Panda that we had earlier. I mean, being faster in a straight line than a Fiat Panda is usually not a hard thing to accomplish, but lost a lot of time there. Yeah, this needs rebalancing in the brakes and on the tires as well. Keep in mind, this is also on sports tires, not on semi-slicks like the Panda was. here it just flies, this thing. Again, lost a lot of time here. And here through that corner I lost a lot of time as well. Oh no. Now I'm gonna lose more time because I crushed my suspension. Yeah, not even faster than the first lap. I think the S-Track straight line speed helps out a lot. I don't think it does, actually. This one was just fast and loose, really. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. I'm going to be ending the stream now. I'm going to be retuning the last car you saw. Probably running it on semi-slick tires. You know, adjusting the aero. Maybe giving it even more power, even though I don't think it really needs it. But anyway, yeah. I'm gonna be ending the stream here. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys on the time for some meme cars. Hope to see you guys on the stream on Saturday again. Actually, you know what? Hope to see you guys on Friday on the stream. This next week, I'm also going to be streaming on Friday afternoon or Friday night at 6 p.m. GMT. And what I'm going to be playing is Forza Horizon 4, because that's when I can start playing it. I just bought it today. See you then. Bye bye.